And it's a wrap! 2022 was a wonderful year. It started with a wonderful spring season for us. We planted 750 bulbs in our then very small garden, and it was just a glorious show. And spring finished on a high with an incredible visit to the Coconut Park, a wonderful spring garden located in the Netherlands that was full of tulips. 7 million to be exact, arranged in the most beautiful patterns. It was really the highlight of spring. We did have a few struggles with the hottest and driest July in record for us in the south of England, and that really created some challenges for the garden. We had a spider mite attack and the dahlias suffered for a while, but with September rolling in, we had more rain and the garden was absolutely lush again. Of course, the biggest news of all is that we moved to a lovely rural cottage nestled in the countryside with a much bigger garden, and we absolutely love it. Actually, I'm not sure if we love it more or our cats. It's a really great challenge now to start a new garden from scratch. Even though we're still renting, we had permission to start landscaping and planting the garden. So we started with some topsoil, and I've already planted a few things. And I also managed to plant my spring bulbs. You'll also see that next year. And we actually arrived just in time for Christmas. And that was such a fun project to be able to decorate and make the cottage feel so Christmassy. Let's dive back into the highlights of the year. Well, the year didn't really start in spring, but let's say it's when the garden starts to be really interesting and really lush again. So let's have a look at what the garden looked like back in March and April at peak tulip season. And then when I thought spring couldn't get any better, I visited the Coconut for the first time, and I cannot recommend you to go enough. If you love spring bulbs, if you love tulips, it's a must-see. It is incredible to see so many tulips, so many beautiful blooms. We went at the end of April, so it was really peak tulip season still. We didn't see too many hyacinths and daffodils, but there were still a couple of miscarry and also daffodils that we could enjoy. I spotted so many wonderful combinations, some of them which I'm bringing into my 2023 bulb display, so stay tuned for those. I loved it. And then there's that gap. That gap from the end of May through to mid-July, when your spring bulb show is over and your summer annuals haven't really started kicking in, where you can end up with a gap. But this year, between the David Austin roses in their second year and a lot of salvias and uchras, I managed to fill a little bit of that May gap. But that is definitely something that I want to work more in the new garden. July was really tough on the plants. Of course, it's when we go away on holidays. I think most of us go at that time of year, and leaving the garden unattended, doubled with really dry weather, was really challenging to keep everything afloat. So we did have a terrible spider mite attack. Yeah, this is bad. I mean, it looks like there's sand on everything. And like a thin layer of, I think there are mites. Oh, no, no, no. So I popped into the store yesterday and I ended up finding this bug control that is prescribed for spider mites. So I'm hoping it works. It's the first time I'm going to be using it. It says it's bee friendly, so that's good. Apply thoroughly to upper and lower leaves. Reapplication can be applied weekly. And I had to cut back all my dahlias to the ground. So we did enjoy them for a little while, but then we had to wait for them to bounce back. And they did. always loved to swap interests in the garden. Maybe because I had such a small space, I really wanted it to be always at its best. So I had the spring bulbs and then that transition period. And then I wanted to gear up the garden again for fall. So I picked up the most beautiful plants at my local garden center and refreshed all those tired summer containers. That was a really fun project. And we also harvested our first ever crop of apples. I had that one dwarf apple tree, so perfect for small spaces, for 3 years, and it is finally time to reap the fruits of our patience. These apples should be ripe right now, so let's try to harvest them. This is supposed to be their ripe color with a little bit of pink. This one came off! Okay, I lifted it and then I twisted it and this little bit detached. Aha, got it. Yeah, sun is coming. Yeah. And you already know by now that the most exciting thing this year is that we moved. Of course, we couldn't live without the garden. So we started the really long process of emptying it. When we were done emptying everything, it was actually hard to believe that this was how the garden looked like 3 years ago. It's incredible. This used to be my little hidden area where I had all the plants in storage and I stored my little potting table. This was where I had my first little cold frame and a lot of pots again. It took 2 very full loads of a large Luton van to bring everything to its new home. All the plants, all the decor, that was a massive job. And right now, it's actually only taking a very small portion of the garden to give you an idea of the size. We have a bigger space that is a blank canvas. So it's going to be really lovely to plant it up, make it our own. Even though we're still renting, I feel like having more space, having this separation between the front garden, the side garden, and the rear garden opens up so many more possibilities. And I really love it too because it's so open. It has those wonderful open views on the countryside, which is going to make the design a little bit different from what you normally see with the fence and backing up the planting along the fence. So I can't wait to build the garden with you and design it with you. I think it's going to be absolutely epic. And this year, having room to decorate for Christmas, I finally managed to create my dream Christmas displays with a lot of different compositions and plantings that were Christmassy, but also perfect throughout winter. So we have now the loveliest little decorated spot at the front of the house, so we see it every day when we go in and out. Of course, those evergreens will find a place in the new garden design or in the garden in general, so that they can be reused from year to year. And actually, it's going to be interesting to see how I'm going to transition from a container garden only, because everything had to be in containers so we could take it with us when we moved, to maybe doing a bit more in-ground planting because we have permission from our landlords to do that. So that's going to be a new challenge. And it's always really fun to start a new space from scratch. How are you going to arrange the plants? Where do you have your shaded areas? Where do you have your entertaining areas? And how those connect to each other? What type of planting or garden style do you want to go for? So we'll go over that next year. Of course, I think it's going to be English cottage garden because we have an English cottage. And actually, I want to know what you want to see more of in the new year. What kind of videos would you like to see? What are you interested in? Do you want to learn more about specific types of plants? Do you want to see more gardening vlogs? Do you want to go shopping with me more often? Let me know. Of course, I started this new garden makeover series where I'm going to share with you how we start developing the new garden. So there will be a lot of that. So I hope you enjoy spending the year with me in my garden. Thank you so much for watching this video, but also for just commenting and being here. I'm really grateful for that. So stay tuned. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in 2023.